When the first Robin, Dick Grayson, grew out of being Batman's sidekick, he decided to take on a new name, Nightwing. But why? Welcome to a tie-in video where I wear a tie in videos sometimes. I'm Scott, and we talked before in the Jason Todd video that the behind-the-scenes reason why Dick Grayson gave up the name Robin in the first place was because the Batman writers wanted the character back, but Teen Titans writer Marv Wolfman said no. So he proposed the idea of renaming Dick Grayson to something else so that the writers could at least have the name Robin back, which they would then give to Jason Todd so that the duo of Batman and Robin could be restored. The new name chosen for Dick Grayson was Nightwing, but where did that name come from? Dick Grayson was not the first character in comics named Nightwing. In fact, Superman was, in Superman number 158 from 1963, 21 years before Dick would be known by that name. There's a Kryptonian city named Kandor that was shrunk by Brainiac and stored in a bottle before Krypton exploded, saving all the residents, but leaving them permanently tiny. Superman got a hold of it and stored it in his Fortress of Solitude. He went to visit one day and found the citizens rioting against him, thinking that Superman was intentionally keeping them prisoner in their tiny bottle world. To save the day, he and Jimmy Olsen had to create new superhero identities that the Kryptonians could trust. They were inspired by Batman and Robin, but they didn't have bats or robins in Kandor, but what they did have were creatures called Flamebirds and Nightwings. Supes and Jimmy create new costumes and save the day as the new heroes, Nightwing and Flamebird. This idea of Superman and Krypton being an inspiration for the name Nightwing would continue over the years, even with some slight changes. In Tales of Teen Titans number 44, we see Dick Grayson trying to come up with a new name after he retired from the role of Robin. He says that there's really only one name that he keeps coming back to, a name he learned from Superman's Kryptonian heritage. Nightwing, of course. In Nightwing Year 1, we see that it wasn't Superman who came up with the name and persona, but it was actually a Kryptonian legend that existed many centuries before Supes was born. The story goes that a hero named Nightwing was cast out of his family, but fought for those who couldn't fight for themselves, hoping to prove that he was better than what his family gave him credit for. At a crossroads in his life, Dick is inspired by the story and takes the name for himself, becoming Nightwing. And as a side note, Dick had a partner of his own named Flamebird later, who was really Bet Kane, aka the first Batgirl from way back in the day, but man, that's an entire other can of worms. But what do you guys think? Do you like Dick Grayson as Robin or Nightwing more? And do you like the story of Superman creating the Nightwing persona or the idea of an old Kryptonian legend better? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, we've got a whole playlist of Batman stuff you can watch linked on the screen somewhere, as well as below in the description. And if this is your first time hanging out with us here at NerdSync, we do weekly comic book videos that expand your understanding and enrich your comic book reading experience. So hit that big sexy subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Once again, I'm Scott. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll see you right here on Monday for another episode of the NerdSync podcast. Not here, actually, but on iTunes and SoundCloud. See ya.